Cutie Pies. I am Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Thursday. Man, this week is going so fast. December the 7th, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it like a 6. I feel like I'm being a little bit generous. Anyways, let's just jump right into it. We see Stephanie and Chad. So Stephanie is upset with Chad because she's like, "You need to tell me why you had Everett fired." We're gonna just jump right into it. And he was like, "What?" And she said, "Don't even pretend that you don't know what I'm talking about because Everett investigated who owns the paper now." Because he called Gwen and she let him know that she no longer owned the paper, so she didn't get him fired, but she wouldn't tell him who. So we investigated and we found out the shell company or the company that you tried to hide behind, it's yours. And so he admitted he did it, and he told her because Everett was getting in the way. He knows he wants her back, and he was trying to ruin their relationship. And she said, "That's just, I can't believe you did that. It reminds me of what you did with Alex." She said, "But with Alex, at least you are man enough to go into his face. With Everett, this is just sneaky and conniving and everything." And he says, "You can't tell me that you don't know this man wants you." And she said, she just pretty much told Chad, "You are perfectly fine with me just being um, a live-in girlfriend with you. You don't want to offer me marriage. You don't want to offer me the next step in our relationship. You're still trying to decide, if you even want a next step in our relationship." And Everett, at least Everett was wanting to marry me, and so he was like, "Wait, what?" So she tells him about finding the ring, and he says, "I didn't know y'all were that serious. You all were that serious." And she said, "Well, he he had planned on asking her to marry him, and then he got into his accident." So Chad said, "And you would have said yes to it?" And I mean, she doesn't know. She probably would have though, because from what she told us, she was in love with this man, so she probably would have told him yes. She said, "I mean, she just wants to be married to somebody. She wants somebody that wants to be with her, and not only just wants to be with her, he wants to be married with her." And she just was telling him like, "All you want is like, I help you raise your children and all that, but I'm not good enough to be your wife." I said, "Now listen, now Chad is Chad to me, but Stephanie, you have to take some responsibility for that because no one's telling you to do this. You did that on your own. You knew exactly what Chad was offering you, and still you ran over there and moved in with him. You still did it, so you have to take some responsibility on why you're doing that on your own as well." Anyways, child, she just tells him she can't even be around him or whatever, and so she ends up leaving him right there in Horton Square. So then we go over here, and Everett is just like, "I can't believe it was Chad." And then he gets a knock on the door, and it's Chad. And Everett was like, "Chad," and he said, Chad told Everett, "Don't even pretend you don't know why I'm over here. I know you know that I'm the one who bought the paper." And he said, "So why would I want to talk to you?" And Chad said, "Because you could get your job back, but I have one question for you." And he was like, "What?" "Are you trying to win Stephanie back?" And Everett pretty much told him, "Yes." And I said, "Chad, what? We knew that from the very beginning. You needed confirmation for that. We knew that from the very beginning." But anyways, he ends up leaving Everett right there. So then we go over here, and oh, I forgot to take it out. We see Chad. He's going home, right? And he was Alex had went to take the trash out. So when he sees Chad, he's like, "Oh, Stephanie wanted me to give you this, and it's a key, child. It's a key. So let's move on." So she's moved out. I said, "See, this is why you don't." And I know a lot of people complain, like we're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so old fashioned" or whatever. When I was saying that she should not be living with Chad, um, but the reason why, like, if they were both single with no children, cool, 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 cool. But because you have children, you've moved this woman in with them. Their mom just died like a year and a half ago, and now you move this woman in, and now she's gone. That's a lie. You have small children. You have small children. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Maybe I am. Oh, like I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Because I feel like that's reasonable to be like, don't move somebody in unless you really want them to be there and you're securing yourself. But Chad is too insecure. Anyways, we move over here to Jada and Rafe. And so they're all in the bed and everything, just talking. And he tells her that he needs to go to the office because he needs to shave, and he was gonna buy a shaving kit to bring to her place, and um, she was like, "You're gonna buy a whole one just to bring here?" He was like, "Yes," but then he tells her it's awkward actually going down, and Roman is looking at me, and I feel like he knows what we were doing, and then Harris is staying here. He was like, it's just awkward because she stays where they can be seen. Anybody can be in the pub eating breakfast. And so he said, "Why don't you move in with me?" And I was like, "Why can't y'all just have y'all?" I don't know. Maybe I've gotten to the age I want my own space. I know, thank you. But he just says, "Why don't you move in with me? It'll be so convenient, and then we won't have to worry about who is down in the pub eating breakfast or lunch or dinner whenever he decides to leave. That she could just leave his place." And she was like, "Oh, I don't know." Um, and he was like, "You lived with someone before?" She said, "Yeah, her ex-husband." So she started talking about her ex-husband and how he proposed to her and all this. I said, "Girl, you really romanticizing that." I feel awkward. The way she was doing was anybody else like, "Jada, you are in bed with another man." I'm that was I guess that's just me. But anyway, she was just like, "Yeah, it was romantic. I thought we were gonna be together forever." So, okay, child, but you not. You with Rafe. But anyways, they continue to talk, and they tell each other how much they do enjoy being in each other's company, and they enjoy this relationship. But she right now she's not ready to move in. She feels like that's a major step. But he tells her, he would love to move in with her. And then he says, "Okay," because it's later on, and he says, "I'm about to go take a shower." And she said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm like, okay." She told him he could use her robe. And he said, "See, more reasons why you should move in." So, anyways, Rafe goes and takes this shower, right? Listen, the next thing we know, Jada is taking pictures of herself. I said, "Who does this?" Like, not taking pictures of yourself, but you're in the bed and stuff. You're not dressed. I said, "Okay, child." But she's taking pictures of herself, and then she starts swiping through her phone, and she gets this whimsical smile all over her face. And child, we see in the picture, it's a picture of Everett. Now, if you watch Days spoilers or whatever, you already knew this, but still, it is a picture of Everett, and he's holding, and it shows that her engagement ring or whatever. And so then we go to Everett, and he's like, "Stephanie, this gives me a chance to win you back." And he opens a box, and it's an engagement ring. Y'all, I couldn't zoom in because I watched it on my computer. Was that the same engagement ring he had given Jada? Was it? I don't know because I couldn't see it. So y'all tell me in the comments. I don't know, child. I don't know. I said, what is going on here? We'll see. We'll see. A mess. And then Everett gets this look on his face like, I said, "Oh no, I see. I knew you couldn't be trusted." The look on his face. Mm-mm. Anyways, then from there we go to John and Steve. So John and Steve are talking it up, right? They're yapping it up about Constantine, about the information they found on him. And so they pretty much know Constantine is a scumbag. He's not to be trusted. Maggie shouldn't be around him, but they gotta have proof because they can't just go in there with no proof and everything, right? So they started breaking down the case, and they said, "Well, if Constantine got hit and the kidnapper escaped, there had to be there's only so many routes you can go." So they said, "Oh, this the probably the secluded place. If this was a person who worked with Constantine, and they were handing the baby back to him, the secluded place would be where?" And they said, "In the park." And they said, "But there's a bank camera there." So they hack into the feed, and it took them like 2 seconds, but anyways, they hack into the feed, right? And they see the bank security footage, but it's so grainy they can't see the person because they still think it's a man from the footage. But they said we could ask the bank for their feed, and Steve was like, nah, I don't think they're gonna like somebody hacking into the security footage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send it off to Shane. I said, uh-oh. And so when they tell him they're going to send it off to Shane, that's exactly what they do. And so Steve says he's going to stay there because they're at Steve's place, and he's going to wait for Shane's comeback and feedback to hit him back. And so John is going to go look at. I said, "Uh-oh, Teresa." So then we see that Constantine and Maggie running into each other at Horton Square, and they're talking. And she was like, "Constantine," because y'all know he was supposed to stay like a day or two or whatever, and he was gonna leave. And then he asked her. He didn't ask her, but he kind of asked her because she covered his bill a little bit longer, and she was like, "What's going on?" And he's telling her that he can't leave right now because he's found out that he can't go back to Greece because there's a hit out on him. The people he owed the money to are still looking for him, and they warned him not to come back. I said, "Oh Lord." So then we see Teresa and Alex in the pub, right? And they're in the pub talking, and she tells him, they're just telling him, talking about the being together and everything, their relationship. Not even that, but just work. Maggie, Constantine, they're just yapping it up. And but then they start getting all romantic, and they want to, start kissing and all that kind of stuff. And then Teresa was like, nothing can ruin this night. But then she looks up and she sees Constantine coming in, and she's like, ugh. And so Alex is like, what's going on? And Maggie and Constantine come up, and they start. Alex says, well, we were just about to leave. And Constantine is like, wait, Teresa, I wanted to apologize to you again for saying everything I said to you. I'm sorry about that, of pretty much accusing you of being a gold digger. And they're like, okay. And Teresa's like, yeah, I mean, I know you couldn't have possibly accused me of being a gold digger just because I'm hanging out with a rich man, when some people could say the same about you because, he's with Maggie and he doesn't have any money. And so Maggie was just like, oh, and Alex, and then so Teresa and Alex end up leaving, right? So when they leave, they go to his apartment. They go back to their apartment, and she's just upset about Constantine because she knows his true character. So she's like, "Oh, he's just such a jerk." And Alex was like, "Well, I don't know. He did apologize, and Maggie seems to like him." And she was like, "Ugh, I just don't know about him. He just doesn't seem like a good character." And Alex is like, "Well, okay, then maybe I should look into him a little bit more closely or watch him more closely since he is hanging around Maggie." So Teresa can't have this. She can't have Alex growing suspicious of Constantine because she's in on the whole thing with him too. And she started backpedaling. Well, maybe he's not that bad, and I do hold a grudge and all this kind of stuff. And Alex, at this point, it's too late because Alex is like, no, he's around my Aunt Maggie, and if I don't want someone that could possibly be using her around him, like what kind of person would use someone for money? That's disgusting. And so Teresa is just like, because she feels bad because he talking about her. So she's like, let's just stop talking about that and let's focus on us. And so he was like, the cleaning lady came by. And she was like, it didn't look like she cleaned. He was like, well, I did tell her to focus on my bedroom, mainly the sheets. And so she tells him, I don't want to go in the bedroom. I want to be right here. And he's like, I thought you didn't want to be on the couch again. And she was like, she cool with it. So they start doing what they do, and then Alex gets up to, go into the bedroom. I guess I don't know, to clean up whatever he was doing, but he says, "Oh, I got to take the trash out because I have to take the trash out because it looks like the housekeeper." I said, "What kind of housekeeper is this?" She forgot to take it out. So that's when he goes outside and ends up bumping into Chad. While he's outside, Teresa goes and puts on her hoodie, and it's clearly her from the surveillance picture. I said, "Girl, you need to throw that hoodie away." Anyways, y'all. So then we go back to Constantine and Maggie. So he's telling her, if you could just help me out a little bit longer, I would appreciate that, and everything about, because he can't go back to Greece. And she said, well, what are you gonna do in the meantime? And he tells her, I don't know, my visa is running out. I would have to find a job here, employment, or I would have to get married or something. And he was touching Maggie's hand, and she pulled her hand away because at this point, Constantine, she don't trust you. Like, she not trying to have any type of relationship with you. And so John comes walking in at this time. Constantine doesn't really know who John is. So I'm guessing John is overhearing all of this that Constantine is going on. I'm saying, you're trying to move in too fast on her now, because you should have played it slow from the beginning, but you couldn't wait because you wanted to get that money so bad. And if you had played it slow, she was already wanting you to stay until Christmas, but you had to go and kidnap the baby. And Maggie, I think she wants to like Constantine, but she's not ignoring the red flags that he brings. So I don't know, y'all. Y'all tell me what you think. That's all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for an all new episode of What Happened on the Soap Stays of Our Lives edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.